Hello and welcome to our video on quartiles, maximum and minimum. I'm going to start with maximum and minimum first. You probably can guess what they are from the words, but I just want to make sure everyone's clear about what these terms mean. So maximum is the largest number in your set of data, and the minimum is the smallest number in your set of data. Of course, you'll need to put them in order to work out the largest number and the smallest number at each end, but that's what those two terms are. We're going to use those in a future video. What I want to spend most of this time talking about is the quartiles. So quartiles can help show you the spread of the distribution. The maximum and minimum can as well. Tells you things like, are all the numbers bunched up together in the middle, or are they more spread out? The first quartile, which is known as the lower quartile, is often called Q1, and the 1 is a subscript, a little one, a little lower than the line that you're writing on. Q1, and it's at the 25% mark. The second quartile is Q2. It's at the 50% mark. Another name for Q2 is the median. And you might remember from a previous video that the median is the middle number. That's why it's at the 50% mark, exactly halfway along the distribution. The third quartile is known as the upper quartile, and that one is Q3. So when we're talking about quartiles, we usually only talk about Q1 and Q3, but I wanted to put Q2 in there because often people say, well, here's Q1, here's Q3, where does Q2 must be somewhere in between, where does that fit in? So that one's there, and that's the median. I did forget to mention before that the third quartile, Q3, is at the 75% mark. So these quartiles, the word quartile has quart in it, which represents the 4, because we're breaking the whole distribution up into 4. So let's look at a diagram. If we had all our numbers going from here to here, so this would be the minimum and this is the maximum. Often we use min and max to show minimum and maximum. The halfway point is the median. So this would be at 50%. This here is 0. The maximum is at 100%. Sorry, that says 10%. 100%. And now we can start to look at the quartiles. So halfway between the minimum and the median is the 25% mark. That's our Q2. And halfway between the median and the maximum is our Q3. Remember, this one here is Q2. Another way for saying it, and we need to label this as 75% mark. Let's look at an example of how we would do that with some data points. I put it in bright pink here for you. To find any of these values, you must always make sure that your data is written in order first. Otherwise, you won't be finding the median, the exact halfway point. You'll be finding the halfway point of whatever order you put the numbers in. Here's an example. The Tigers are a basketball team that plays a whole season against other teams. This season, they scored the following numbers of points during their games. And I seem to have written this season twice. Here are all the numbers. Find the maximum and minimum and the quartiles. So firstly, now you could find the maximum and the minimum without putting them in order. Don't be tempted to think the first one is the minimum and the last one is the maximum, because there may be higher ones. These numbers they don't look like they're in order to me, so you'd need to rewrite them. If you were just asked to find the maximum and minimum, you could look through and say 91's pretty high, 95's higher, so 95 is the maximum. And the lowest, 68. 68 is the lowest. Minimum is 68. If we were trying to find the quartiles, though, it's going to take a bit longer and we will need to put them in order. Pause the video now to have a go at doing that yourself. And I've gone ahead and organized all of these data points into order from smallest to largest, and we can see we were right with our minimum is 68 and our maximum is 95. To find the quartiles, the first thing we need to do is find the median. So the median is exactly halfway. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 different data points. So halfway is going to be at 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There'll be 6 on that side, 6 on that side, and the 7th one is the halfway point. So this one here is exactly halfway. We don't have 2 numbers in the middle, we've only got 1, so we don't need to find an average. So the median is 80, and that is also Q2. So we've already found one of our quartiles. Once you have that quartile, we need to look at the left-hand side of the data and break this in half again. So when you do that, you don't count the median, just count the numbers on the left-hand side. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So halfway is between these two. And this time we have got 2. So halfway between 68 and 72, we can find the average, add them together and divide by 2. And we end up with 70 as Q1. The upper quartile is 1, 2, 3, halfway between 89 and 90, which is 89.5. If you weren't sure about that, you could add them together and divide by 2. And that's our 3rd quartile or upper quartile. Once you've found the 3 numbers, you just need to list them out. Q1 equals 70, Q2 equals 80, and Q3 equals 89.5. Thanks for watching the video.